Hey everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Eric, Jason, Rosalind, Nina, PD, Rex, Brian, Kevin, Donald, Francois. And thanks everybody for the happy birthday. Thank you. Thank you. Valerie, Nikki, Wade, Alan, Philip, Carlene, Larry, Dan, Craig. Hey, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. And guess what? I guess Tesla gave me, I mean, not really give me, it's like to go buy a Cybertruck, you gotta show up in the back with a bag of cash and, all this stuff. Like, I know, I just took, it was kind of like getting the delivery was almost a birthday present, but, it certainly didn't cut me any deals. But, I was talking, I've already been texting with a wrap company this morning, though. They're super excited and they are going to cut me a deal because it's going to be the first Cybertruck they get to work on if I go with them. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, oh, check this out right here. Look at these algos right here. So this is global over here. This is, not necessarily US markets. This all the markets. All right, up small, we can see some buying. Up big, we see a little bit more buying. And down small, yikes. And then down big goes really down. And flat market just kind of hangs. So that's global markets right there. Global stuff, It's going to be everything. Now, S&P is a little different story, though. Right over here on the right, and this is by a Goldman Sachs trading desk. I like Bank of America's better, but sometimes I have trouble finding that one. So one of you sent me the Bank of America one a couple months ago. That was pretty cool, but they come out every couple weeks. So right here, 1 month projections. Right here, look, up big, flat. Up small, flat. Down small, uh-oh. Down big, uh-oh. I don't even see, I guess the flat market's right. It's just like a shadow right on the green there. So, truck's doing good. Truck's doing good. Um, I didn't have a 220 plug to plug it up with. So, just charged up with 110 last night and put a paltry 7% on. I was like, it was laughable. Or Rungamer was, like, just throw this away. But hey, sometimes you got to make it work with what you got to make it work with. And it was funny though, like barely, like 12 hours of charging and, got 7%. So anyway, no, my truck's number 19,811. Recall was through 11,000 or so. Think about it. Like the news is all over the fact that there's only about 11,000 trucks on the road, but my truck is 19,000. There's almost 20,000 trucks on the road. Is that going to be a surprise when Tesla announces earnings here in a couple weeks? Maybe. So be prepared. Be prepared. Anyway, there's the algos. I don't like it. We get started down at all. Watch out. Things can get things. I mean, look, the algos are long. The algos are really long. This can go back to flat in a heartbeat. Flat's all the way down here. Like down big just puts them back to flat. So they're sitting on lots of profit. And potentially thinking that it's projected that they're trying to take advantage of more upside here. So we'll see what happens. And these are in billions. So think about it. Think about those numbers right there. Think about how many billions of dollars it takes for Nvidia to move at all, any substantial percent wise. We're just looking at $50 billion in algos right there. So that's interesting, I think. I think it's interesting. The numbers, just the way this is. I mean, when you look at how many billions of dollars it takes for Nvidia to move at all. I mean, we can click over here, NVDA. This is substantial billions of dollars just to move this little bit here. Substantial. Right there. You may be like, well, how many billions? Right? I mean, some of you don't quite get the concept, but look, for Nvidia to move $1, it's $24 billion flowing into or out of the market. $24 billion. $2, $50 billion. Look at that. $50 billion. Nvidia moves $2, and that's all the money the algos control. Think about it. Like that's law of big numbers, all right? Yeah, I've got a charger on order, so it'll be here in a day or two. I've got a 220 like I'm so crazy story. We looked it up last night. Um and my dad went to Lowe's to prove it. So Lowe's only had EV 220 1450 NEMA chargers or plugs, receptacles, excuse me. And if they see EV on them, they're between $60 and $90. All right, this is a standard plug for like dryers and all that stuff. If you just get a regular one, $9. You can go order them on Amazon. Home Depot says they have them in stock, so probably gonna swing by there later. Anyway, just ridiculous that $9 for just a regular one, $90 for one that says EV on it. I mean, come on, taking advantage of people that that think they got to get the EV stuff. Like, there's no real difference. All right, I mean, the plug's the plug. It's a standard. It's NEMA. I mean, it's like National Electric, whatever, blah blah blah. So, but my point is here, $2 on Nvidia is all the money the algos have in the S&P. Back to what I was saying. That's, to me, that's absolutely just wild. Just wild. And apparently I just had an alert. Yeah. And that just closed out on gold. Dun, dun, dun. So anyway, we look at how much that's moving. Like, look at that. That was $19. $19. That's a lot of billions of dollars. Think about it. $24 billion every dollar. It moved almost $20. That's a lot of money flowing into and out of the market at this point. Now, what happens? Think about it. What happens if Nvidia takes a historic bigger correction, like down to here? That's a lot of billions more dollars coming out of the market right there. So we're looking at a potential $40 drop from where we are right here. $40 drop. Let's just talk. I mean, let's just put a real number to it. $24 billion, or 24 point. Yeah, let's just say $24 billion times 40. That's almost $1 trillion for this move right here, from here to here. 1 trillion. Isn't that crazy? Think about it. That's the law of big numbers right there. That's $1 trillion of market money coming out right there. That's why I say be careful, all right? This has gotten ridiculous here. Be careful. You may be like, well, there's no way $1 trillion is coming out of Nvidia. You need to be careful if you're thinking that way. You need to be very, very careful, especially if you have exposure long Nvidia. Be very careful. The roadmap line is support right now. We are going to revisit the roadmap line sooner or later. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next week, maybe not next month. But sometime we're going to revisit this roadmap line. Now, it may or may not be in the 80s. It may be up here. It may be down here. I don't know. We'll see. If it comes down here, we're likely to hit it before we get down there. So right now, it's in the 80s. It could be in the 90s. Could be out later in the, more toward the fall before we get down there. That's $1 trillion if we come down to the 80s right now. $1 trillion. Where does that put it on this right here? We'd be dropping from here down below Amazon. And just leapfrogging down. Be careful out there. Be careful, all right? Nobody's watching out for your money more than you. This is why I caution about these numbers. Now, we saw Apple I mean, Apple's been moving pretty big, right? Like in the last couple of years. Look at this. I mean, those are big moves. That's a lot of money flowing. They only have 15 billion shares, so a dollar on Apple is $15 billion in the market, in or out. Apple's set to go higher. So be careful out there. Yeah, it takes trillions of dollars to move the FANG stock. Yeah. To move them substantially, it takes trillions of dollars, Armand. That's why I commonly hold there are much better opportunities in things that are more free to move, like this baby right here, ANF. Like this retrace would be great, and we could see much bigger upside because there's only, look at this, there's $8 billion of market cap. Think about that. $1 on NVIDIA is 3 Abercrombie and Fitches. Oh, thanks, George. 3 Abercrombie and Fitches. $1 in NVIDIA, $1 move in NVIDIA is 3 Abercrombie and Fitch. Like the entire market cap of Abercrombie and Fitch. They have 51 million shares, so any dollar move is $51 million in or out of the market. Right there. If you never thought about it this way, it's a different way to this is why when I look at those big ones, like, yes, the stock chart matters, but there's another force at play when we get to big numbers, all right? And then those big numbers are the fact that there's so many shares and so much money. It takes so much more money to push it up or down. So that's, maybe you've never even considered how many shares there are versus the price versus the market cap. So if you never thought about it, give me a like on the video. Maybe I taught you something new today. Anyway, yes. Looking at let's jump down the time frame because we can't really see much. Look at that. That was the high. That was potentially 5 down. Retrace. If we get continuation, it's going to be a signal we're heading on lower. Right there. All right. So here's our support zones down here to about 5,500, 5,480. Then breaking down the gap fill right here down to 5,430 on futures. Maybe like, why futures? Well, futures move overnight while the S&P 500 cash index here is just sitting still waiting for 2 more minutes before it moves. It's going to gap down at this point. Probably about $8 or $9, maybe $10. Maybe rally back, close the gap. Sometimes it likes to do that. Like it gapped up yesterday, closed the gap, showed weakness. Oh, I guess that was a few days ago. Excuse me. A few days ago. We haven't filled this gap yet. So this gap's sitting down here. S&P doesn't like to long-term leave gaps. So we're unlikely to just keep going higher without ever visiting this gap again. And there's a gap down here that we may go visit again. So be careful. It's just a weird quirk of S&P is that usually it goes fills gaps, and it can be years, it can be days, it can be weeks. It's not instant. Now, IWM, on the other hand, this one likes to fill the overnight gap almost every day. Almost every day. And pre-market, a lot of times it fills the gap pre-market. So that gives it less likely to fill it the same day when it does that pre-market. Like over here, like it took a few days to come back and fill that gap right there. Instead of coming right back up and then going. So, anyway, there's different dynamics in all the different. It's not like a universal rule, so don't go like, well, Apple's got to fill the gap all the time. Be careful. Be careful, all right? When I throw out statistics, it's usually very specific to a particular ticker. In Q, that was a rally back up, but as that rally played out, we definitely got to upside resistance, came up in the reversal zone. We may see this breakdown here. Can at the minimum, we could repeat this right here off of this. There's the market open. So we're looking at a move down in 19.4 at a minimum. If we're going to get continuation lower is indicated by a break below these lows we made just back here Monday and Tuesday. ZIM is a sell, MPC is a sell. Let's see, did we hit the target? Boom to the target. And boom to the target. Those worked out. Pretty nice right there. Pretty nice. All right. Russell, on the other hand, still looking pretty weak. Zoomer back up. Watch for a break below support. Support right here at 2,000. If we get below that, we have this where we did this bottoming tail situation right here, where it was really red, dropping really fast, then we reject it and close green. Watch for that to be support. If we get below that, it's the initial sign that we're going on down. I've been saying this for weeks and months, and it seems like forever. This is a very, very precarious position right here that we may see this drop more severely. Oh, BT, go, 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 go. That's really sweet to look at right there. Flipping over to oil. We may go back for a roadmap line retest. Right back over here. And one quick little spike down. Jam it, bam it up to 83, 84. We get above that, 90. I sound like a broken record. I've been saying these prices every day for days and days. So that's kind of what we expect to happen at this point. But it can just shoot up here, break above this, and then game on for this. So that's kind of your support at 79. We get below 79. Watch out for a lower low than what we made just a few weeks back right here in early June. So if we break this roadmap line, watch out for something down here. All right. It's kind of an indicator. That's like, how do you know where it's going to go? Watch for support and resistance levels. All right. Support below us. So this level right in here is important. Right in here. This level for resistance, important. We get above that, we're going on up here to this. We get above that, we're going on up to the next one up. We get below this, probably coming down, lower low. You know, there will be support right there though, so, or should be. All right, so there's your levels. Here, 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 and here. And we're just in between, so there's nothing high probability. Now, if we come down to here, turn back higher, that's high probability. We're going here at the minimum, and then here possibly. And there might be, that might actually be, we get above this, very likely we're going up here. All right. I like it. I like it. I like the potential on oil. Gold still not done correcting and is indicating that it's going for the roadmap line. Look at that. This is what Bitcoin did just a few days back, indicating we're going right down here for the retest. Bitcoin. On the futures, I'd like to see this actually hit, which may push us a little lower. BTC USD on the spot market actually hit fully, but we're not leaving the roadmap line. We're not done with the bounce yet. We're not moving higher yet. Could this go a little lower? Resolve the futures chart? Absolutely. You can see this come back into alignment with a little bit deeper push on the futures, a little bit deeper push on the spot market. Could push us right down in this zone, possibly make a lower low than what we had back here in May. That would clean this all up, make this one giant sideways correction from the high here in March. If we do that, it sets us up for much higher levels. I was wanting to see a push down into the 32 area. We got so close. We basically hit it. I mean, it was like $30 short, right? ETH USD on the spot market. $30, $40 short. What was that low? 31.94 short. The low was 32.31.94. You can see it right up at the top up there. That got darn close. I was looking for 32. I didn't buy because we didn't hit 32. My alert didn't hit my alert, so it wasn't, close, but not close enough for me. That could still flush one more time. And we're not reversing strongly yet, so still waiting. Still waiting. Dollar, look at this. Breaking higher. Highly likely we're going up to this 106.80 area right here. Possibly 107. And if we get up that high, we might as well go tag the 108.50 right up in there, where I've been holding, talking about for months and months and months and months, holding out for that price. And then we'll probably turn down and go for the lower target down here in the mid 90s after that. This whole corrective junk just taking a long freaking time to work out of the market right there on the dollar. FedEx, nice pop. The target's right up there, 297, 304, and possibly cruising on up 335, 371. Watch for like another pullback, maybe a roadmap line retest before we push on higher right there. This is a much bigger time frame push on that one. And that's odd. It's not on the. There we go. 359. Excuse me. Had something off there for some reason. WHR. Ooh, man. Whirlpool looking pretty rough. Despite a pop up near the roadmap line, that's still bearish. Like it was bearish over here. It was bearish right here. It's still bearish here. We may see this drop even further. Even further. Would that be pretty sucky? Yeah, it'd be pretty sucky for Whirlpool, but the housing situation is kind of weakening. All right. New appliances get put into new houses, new apartments, and with less demand for that sort of stuff, there's less demand for the things that Whirlpool makes. So goes the narrative. And I'm not about narratives necessarily, but this is indicative of a bigger problem, though. Because as housing was rocking and rolling, this has been dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping. OPTX. Ugh. What a nasty chart. Had to be some kind of SPAC, right? Some kind of SPAC. Almost went bust. Popping up. Resistance right there at that prior high. Right there. Watch for a drop. Rivian. Epic super squeeze with Volkswagen announcing $1 billion technology share agreement, whatever. And the chart still indicates we're going down to $6. I don't care. I don't care what it looks like right now. We basically gap filled right there, finding severe resistance. Watch out for the drop. If you were in it, protect your profits. Don't ride it all the way back down to where we were yesterday. And if you do, don't ride it on the breakdown below the lows and the continuation lower. Be careful. 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 It's your money. All right. Nobody watches out for your money more than you do. Please be careful. I mean, we ought to just do this real quick. I mean, all trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance, not necessarily indicative of future results. I may never get another prediction right again. Rivian may never go to 6. Right? May not happen. Now, this presentation is intended to be informational, educational, fun, and entertaining. It is not a recommendation to be buying or selling any financial instruments. No stocks, no options, no bonds, no forex, no futures, no cryptos, no treasuries. Don't long them, don't short them, don't trade them. If you desire personal financial advice, you need to hire and consult a financial advisor, which is not what I'm doing. All right? I'm not telling you what to do, except protect your money. Like, that's just common sense. That's smart stuff to do. Protect your money. Because nobody out there cares more about your money than you do. If they pretend like they do, it's just they're trying to make some of your money into some of their money. I guarantee you. Guarantee you. Be careful out there. BTSO. We can keep going higher here. This one, not limited yet. Now, we do have some resistance right here. Not far away. Up at 40. And if we run the bigger correction here, that high, that low, yeah, if we break above that resistance right there, we're set for 59, possibly 65 on VSTO, excuse me. Get my letter, strike that, reverse it, as Willy Wonka says. VSTO. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, I like the BTBT, the last warrior. I don't recognize your name, so thanks for coming today. Thanks for stopping in, saying hey. MU, possibly going to hit this zone up here around 229. That's what we've kind of set up the pattern to do. That pattern doesn't look like the other patterns because it's not. Did something a little different. NTES, that's a little bit more bearish, bit more bearish underneath the roadmap line. Downtrend of highs. Watch out for a flush down in this area, maybe 72 on netties. ALB. That's not even a. That's the lowest low. That's not even like a big pop for how far down. I've been kind of expecting us to flush on down 87. We got down to 93. That's $6. That's within $6. That's pretty dang close from when I drew this all the way back up here when we did the head and shoulders. You know, could we drop on down to 87? Absolutely. Could we go lower? Absolutely. Be careful. Be careful. Be careful. Be careful on ALB. But this is a potential measured bounce. That high, or that low, that high, this low over here could. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to do this. There's lots of upside resistance to go before we get there, but we could project this up back up in this area up here if we start turning positive off of this potential measured bounce right here. That is a large potential upside move. Getting back above the roadmap line, first indication, back above this consolidation up here, and these making some higher highs. That's low. Look, we got that high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. That's like 6 lower highs in a row. We're gonna have to break into some higher highs, probably do a correction, retest the roadmap line from the top before we get this pop. But it's in the chart, all right? It's in the chart that this is a potential. And that's a huge upside potential. Look, that's like 6, 7, 8 times your money potential. I mean, maybe even 10. Maybe if we go super bullish, 20 times your money. Just on shares. But not yet. Not yet. I'm not a buyer yet. All right. I'm not feeling it yet. This 3 candles don't make a reversal yet. We've seen plenty of those and continuation lower plenty of times. Not a buyer yet. Paychecks just chopping sideways. WENA. Oof. Nasty chart. Nasty chart. Popping, but turning red. That may drop to a new level. BLCN. Dun 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 dun. That's a reverse split, so that's a giant dumpster fire right there. Think about it. That's 100x. That's 45 more x. So that's 4,500x. And then 5x on top of that. So we're talking, wow. That's big numbers, right? Like 25,000 times x or something like that. Almost. Whew. Yeah, that's why the number is 25,000. Yeah, right there. Wow. So that's probably going to go out of business at some point. Probably going back down even further. NVDU, watch out for the drop. Can it pop more? Sure. This is crazy though. Remember how many billions of dollars are tied up in, and that's just NVIDIA itself. That doesn't count all the derivatives like NVDU, NVDS, NVDX, all the other derivatives, NVDY, whatever. Just remember, all right, there are billions and billions of dollars that move into and out of the market with this, and it's just low on the likelihood list. All right, it's just lower probability we're going to see all that money consistently play in the market for that. SAP, and that's the wrong chart on SAP. We need the New York one right here. Yeah, upside resistance 206, 224. There's not been, it didn't hit the roadmap line. Came up a little shy, but 202, 205 resistance right there, potential. And UPS breaking down. This is like my least, if I had a pattern that I hate, I don't usually hate many things in the world. If I have a pattern that I would consider that I dislike enough to hate it, it's this watermelon seed squeeze where we have higher lows and lower highs at the same time. Breaking below it could indicate we may see a flush down here to like 112 area on UPS. I don't like this pattern. It's highly unreliable, and when it does work, it's unreliable to pick which direction we're going. The size of the move after we do it is usually pretty accurate. And this could be a fake out. So it could be faking out here and we go ripping to the upside. This usually we move the size of the mouth right here. Probably didn't have it quite right. Size of the mouth. So that would be the downside. Make a copy. Pull that up to the upside. If we were to break higher, the upside could be like 185 right there. Same size move. Just project it off the top, and we'd have to go from wherever we break through the top. So this could be the fake out, and that'd be the actual move. That's why I don't like them. They're so unreliable. Like an example, this one worked out to the upside. Costco, you see, we did this, did this, and then we popped. And we popped and hit resistance right there at the top. You see right here, that move right there. That move is the same size move right there and right there. We found resistance, consolidated for a while. Now we're popping again. Right there. Where on Costco are we going? Time will tell. It doesn't really have a clear pattern for extensions. 903 resistance, 937, but it's just not clear. And ALAR, I would be expecting a retrace back to the roadmap line right there. And if you don't know about the roadmap line, you're wondering, I've got videos on the channel. Just go to the main home tab on the channel. I've got link in the description for $5. You can put it on your chart if you just want the easy button. The videos, I give you the code if you're more of a DIYer. If you just want the easy button, links down there. Click the more button below me, and there you go. I use it as support and resistance all the time. Now this is resistance that we're below it, and we may turn lower on EDU. Right there. We're going to have to break above these prior highs to go on up to 106. Now for decliners, MSTR was a decliner. Now it's turning a little bit, turning into a green candle. Bitcoin was pulling back a little bit. This one's trying to find some support. Now, here's the interesting bit. We did touch a 50% retrace. This could be one of the loose definitions of a measured bounce. If in fact it is, could potentially set us right up here. So to some extension targets, possibly 2300, 2600, 3200. Right up in that zone. I know it's hard to see with the other fib line there. These are the ones we're talking about right here. If this is a measured bounce. Now, it didn't hit the ideal level of 1250 down here. Came up shy. Only hit the 50% retrace, but that could be enough to project us right on up in here, around 2650. And 2650 would be like, this would be the super bullish case. This would be the bearish case. And this is like the best of both worlds, Goldilocks target right there. Thank you, Robert. So that's MSTR for you. So support right now, right in this zone, and at the roadmap line. And we may mess around here until the roadmap line comes up to this point, do the actual full test, and then go. So this could take a little longer for us to get on up in here. Like that, roughly right up in here. We could mess around possibly till we touch it over here before we do that. So that could be another couple weeks of chopping around, but we could just launch off. Nothing's guaranteed when that pattern, not necessarily guaranteed on anything. ASML came up, found resistance at the prior highs, did make a marginal higher high, retracing support right in here, gap down or gap up, gap fill, support, resistance, That's the long and the short of it. ACN potentially going lower. It's got the setup, a long-term setup. This high, lower high, 3-wave move up. Watch for the flush right down here. Same setup as MSTR, just upside down. And bigger. Bigger as far as time-wise. This topped in 21. Topped with a lower high in 24. Indicating we may see a flush out into possibly 25 right there. APTV. Whew. Watch out. That can flush on out. OEM auto parts. Whew. That does not look good for OEM auto parts right there. That could go lower low. FLUT. Flutter Entertainment. Still looks like we need to go just a bit lower, 170, possibly 160 on the downside, right in that zone. GIS, gap down, back into that support from back here. I would, if we fill this gap and get a close back above the roadmap line, that's probably all we needed to go higher. That high, that low, possibly a target up in this resistance zone right up here. Be kind of funny how that works. We did gap down over there. So there's resistance right there. We may go shooting up pretty quickly right there on GIS. Now, if we break down below these lows, probably go on extensions, 58, possibly 55 on the downside. So your downside risk, like $10 down these extensions. Your upside potential, 10, 15 bucks. So it's kind of 50-50, like risk reward. Risk one to make one. SNY, Sanofi, just that's kind of squeezed, doing that nasty pattern. Look at it. Look at it. See it right here? Everybody see that right there? I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Unreliable. That's why I don't like that pattern. It's just unreliable. Like, it doesn't tell me where it's going. It tells me how big it might go, but it doesn't tell me. And even when it starts breaking out, it can fake out and go the other way. So, thank you, everybody, for all the birthday wishes. RGS. Wow, that was on the decliners list. That's weird. That doesn't even make sense, right? Oh. It has 2 candles right there. Yeah, decliner. So it may retrace that back out right there. Reverse split. So that's basically everything that would make it a dumpster fire. Be careful. I think I talked about this last night too. During 30 Minutes of Awesome. Remember, on Tuesdays at 5 p.m., I do 30 Minutes of Awesome where I do your requests for at least 30 minutes. I think I did like an hour and a half again yesterday. And that'll be coming up. Not next Tuesday, but maybe next Wednesday. I'll try to do it. I have to travel next Tuesday, so just throwing that out there. I will be traveling on Sunday. I'll be in Jacksonville, Florida Monday. We'll try to do this show Monday, Tuesday. I'll be traveling home on Tuesday evening during 30 Minutes of Awesome. I'll try to make up for that on Wednesday next week. Attendance may be low, but I'll try to do it. I'll try to do it for you. All right. Bias for the day. This is the end of the decliners list. So bias for the day. Watch out for this retrace. It seems we're cooking something. All right. The market's cooking something. Lots of indications that things are getting rocky here. We may see some correction. We really need it to rejockey some money in the markets. Be safe out there. The account you save may be your own, right? Be careful. Remember those algos. Definitely set to do some big selling. Right here, if we get some selling in the market, we could accelerate it with the algos. And remember, $50 billion here is only $2 on NVIDIA. It's only $2 a stock move on NVIDIA. So I'll be in Discord most of the day. Have a great day.